I can't wait. I've been longing to be dancing around again. I can't wait. I've been longing to be dancing around again. I wish for the madness. I live a bit lavish with no care beside. And I'll be living this freely and governing sadness with a watchful eye. I deal with restraint. He wanted me dead. Wish so goddamn. Told me it's all in my head. I can't wait. I've been longing to be dancing around again. I can't wait. I've been longing to be dancing around again. I'll take it out in me. What cages ambition that reaches out far. I deal with restraint. He wanted me dead. Wish so goddamn. Told me it's all in my head. I can't wait. I've been longing to be dancing around again. I can't wait. I've been longing to be dancing around again. Dancing around again. He wanted me dead. Wish so goddamn. Told me it's all in my head. I can't wait. I've been longing to be dancing.
I'd rather dance with you than talk with you. So why don't we just move into the other room? A space for us to shake and hear like this tune. Even if I could hear what you said, I doubt my reply would be interesting for you to hear, because I haven't read a single book of yours. And the only film I saw, I didn't like it at all. I'd rather dance, I'd rather dance and talk with you. I'd rather dance, I'd rather dance and talk with you. I'd rather dance, I'd rather dance.
Hello and welcome to Reverb a Film Festival put on by Echo Modern Dance Collective. For those of you who don't know, my name is Zoe Goldstein and I'm the founder and director of Echo. Thank you so much for coming tonight. We are so thrilled and so excited that we were actually able to do something during COVID and quarantine and all this craziness. So this means so much to us that you're here. As some of you may know, we were rehearsing and working really hard towards a show that was supposed to be in person in June. Of course, it was not in person, and that was very devastating. It was a whole big thing. I mean, we were left feeling like, what do we do now? We're a dance group. You know, we have to gather. And so for a while, we were feeling really down, really didn't know what direction to go in. And so then we thought, you know what? We don't need to stop making art. There are ways that we can make art in the pandemic. And art that feels true and feels good to us. And so that's really what Reverb is. Reverb is made up of the reverberations emerging from us creatively during the pandemic. And so that's what you're here to see tonight. And so we're very proud. I'm going to be introducing you to so many artists that were involved in the making of this. There are 10 different pieces, all of them made with different dancers who just put their all into figuring out how to make it work during this nuts time. So as you can see, YouTube Premiere has a chat function over here on the side. It might be on this side, not totally sure, but as long as you can see it, we just want you to know that we would love for you to comment like crazy throughout the entire show. Every single mover and maker is going to be in the audience, and we're going to be reading your comments and really excited and wanting to hear what you're thinking. I know that I for sure am really going to want to know what you're thinking. These recordings of us speaking about the pieces themselves are not live, but we are going to be meeting afterwards on Zoom webinar for a panel with all of the filmmakers. And so the link for that should be in your Eventbrite ticket. I'm also going to write it again in the chat, and it should also be in the description below this video. So let me know if you have a hard time. Just type in, Zoe, I don't know where this is. I'm going to respond to you right away. I'm going to be watching the chat closely. And yeah, because we would really love for you to join us for the panel, make sure to write down your questions as you watch the film so that you can speak to us live and hear from us in the moment. So sit back, relax, and welcome to Reverb. So the first artist that I'm going to be introducing to you today is Maya Wellbow. Maya Wellbow is a very special person to me, and in general, she is absolutely so many things. She's a yoga teacher, a dancer, a dance teacher, choreographer, and a sustainability activist. She received her bachelor's degree from Pomona College in environmental analysis and dance, and she received her master's in journalism from Northwestern. She's a founding member of Echo, and she was the associate director for our entire first year. So I'm excited for you to meet her. Introducing Maya.
Hi, thank you so much, Zoe. So this piece is called Expanse. It was choreographed by myself in collaboration with the wonderful dancers Haley Delaney, Cheyenne Blakely, Clara Lee, and Nadine Mauricio. It was filmed and directed by the very talented Daniel Williams of Modus Cinema, and our director of photography is Ren Freeman. We also got to wear these beautiful costumes by Miyakota, which is an ethical, sustainable apparel brand based in New York City. And the film is set to a song called Teenage Birdsong by Fortet. So the inspiration for this piece came from the idea of taking up space, what it means to inhabit space within our bodies, and also being present in the space around us, as well as how other bodies in the space, other humans around us, affect our relationship to movement, our relationship to each other, our relationship to our own bodies. And I think it was really coming from a place of being limited to space in a way that I had never been before, and I think collectively a lot of us have experienced space differently since having to be indoors a lot more, having to be confined a lot more, not being physically close to other bodies as much. So it was really an exploration of how we can still reclaim expansiveness, spaciousness, and spacious movement, even within these circumstances. And also another cool thing is that we rehearsed and choreographed this whole piece via virtual video, Zoom. And I think that it actually was a really heartening experience because we were able to come up with this art together, even under limited circumstances. And every one of the dancers brought their own unique style to the piece. It was very much a collaborative choreography experience, and I'm really grateful to have had the experience of doing it. So I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.
Hi again. I really hope that you enjoyed watching that piece. I always love watching it. It makes me feel so at ease to view. So I would now like to introduce our next artist, Kelly Vogel. Kelly is a beloved member of ECHO. She's currently a med student actually at Northwestern. She did her bachelor's degree at Emory University in neuroscience and dance, a very cool combination. She's a lifetime dancer. She was actually trained as a prima ballerina. And yeah, I'm just so excited to introduce everyone to the work that her and I made together. So I would like to introduce Kelly.
Thanks, Zoe. So this next piece is called Looking Glass, and the concept, choreography, and video editing is done by Zoe, and I'm the dancer in the piece. And then my father, Robert Vogel, actually did the cinematography for this piece. And it's going to be set to White Ferrari by Frank Ocean. So this piece was really special to me because Zoe put a lot of work into kind of customizing it for me to fit my movement style. We did it to an artist I liked, and we even got to film it by one of my favorite places in the city, right by Lake Michigan. So that was a really special process for me. And of course, it was really special to also work with my dad on his first video project. One kind of powerful moment that came up during the rehearsal process actually was when we were rehearsing outdoors in Lincoln Park, just out in the open because of the COVID restrictions. A woman came up to us and was really just touched by the movement and the rehearsal process, sat down to kind of enjoy it for a bit. So for me, that just reminded me the power of our movement. And even though even in strange times like this, when we find ourselves rehearsing in the park, how much joy it can bring to us and others. And then just one thing I want you all to look out for during the piece. We did some really fun stuff with a mirror, actually, and this was kind of a new prop for all of us. So it was fun to improvise with this and kind of just play around with it, both through the video side and the dancing side. And even got Zoe involved for that part, kind of helping us hold that prop during the filming. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy.
Bad luck to talk on these rides. Mine on the road, your dilated eyes. Watch the clouds float, white Ferrari. Had a good time. 16, how was I supposed to know anything? I let you out at Central. I didn't care to stay the plane. Kept my mouth closed. We're both so familiar. White Ferrari. Stick by me, close by me. You will find, you will find. As this the slow ride. Left when I forget to speak. So I text the speech, lesser speeds, Texas speed, yes. Basic takes its toll on me eventually, yes. On me eventually, yes. I care for you still, and I will forever. That was my part of the deal. Honest, we got so familiar. Spending each day of the year, white Ferrari. I'm sure we're taller, another dimension. You say we're small and not worth the mention. You're tired of moving, your body's aching. We could vacate, there's places to go. Clearly this isn't all that there is. Can't take what's been given, but we're so okay here, we're doing fine. Mama and naked, you dream of walls that hold us in prison. It's just a skull, at least that's what they call it, and we're free to.
was such a blast working with Kelly and her father on that piece together because I had never worked with a father-daughter duo before, so it's a really cool experience for me. And our next artist that I'm going to introduce you to is Gail Honeywell. Gail is an alumni of ECHO. She did her bachelor's in dance performance at Northern Illinois University. She danced with ECHO for her first season, and she now actually has moved to St. Louis because she's training professionally with Big Muddy Dance Company. So we miss Gail so much, and I'm so happy to be introducing you to her.
This next piece is called Lit from Beneath. It was choreographed by Zoe Goldstein, who we just saw, and performed by Zoe and myself, Gail Honeywell. Music for this piece is 336 by Andrew Bird. Cinematography and production of this piece is by El Boudre Productions. Video editing is by Corinne Taylor, and costuming for this piece is by ARQ. Lit from Beneath was choreographed and set during quarantine, and we had the opportunity to record it outdoors at the Morton Arboretum in Lisle, Illinois. Being outdoors gave us the opportunity to utilize several different locations within the Arboretum to enhance the dynamics of this arty dynamic piece. Performing in a space different from the one we were used to rehearsing in also allowed us to explore how different settings can influence our performance and quality of movement. This piece was my last as an official member of ECHO, so it holds a very special place in my heart, and I sincerely hope that you enjoy it.
Lit from Beneath was actually the first film art ECHO ever made, and it clearly started a whole long practice of creating film art. So it's always going to hold a special place in my heart. I would now like to introduce Maxine Petronik. Maxine is a freelance dancer. She's a teacher and choreographer based in Chicago. She holds a BFA in dance from Alonzo King's Lines Ballet BFA program at Dominican University of California. She's a certified instructor in the gyrotonic expansion system. She's a great teacher. I can definitely vouch for her because I love her classes. And she is currently using her platform as an artist to create multidisciplinary works in non-traditional spaces, as well as for film. Meet Maxine.
Thanks so much, Zoe. I am excited to introduce this next piece titled Rag Bag. The choreographer is Zoe Goldstein. The dancers are Cheyenne Blakely, Haley Delaney, Jenny Liu, Maxine Petronik, and Zoe Goldstein. The costuming was gifted by Hara the Label. The music is the song Body Was Made by Ezra Furman. The videographer is Sage Feliciano from 4% Vision. with secondary camera, directing, and editing by Corinne Taylor. To me, the nature of Ragbag is joyful, proud, and celebratory. It values and highlights the diversity of our bodies and makes this bold yet lighthearted statement that this is how our bodies were made and this is how we celebrate that. It showcases our individuality within this larger group vibe with unison at times and more individual moments at others. And something I love about Ragbag is simply how joyful it makes me feel, how it makes me want to just get up and dance it over and over again. So as a viewer, I encourage you to observe how this makes you feel in your own body and feel free to group along with us. I'm really proud to have been a part of this piece and I hope you enjoy watching. Thanks so much.
My body was made this particular way. There's really nothing any old patrician can say. You social police can just get out of my face. And my body was made. My body was made this particular way. Recurrent desire never totally tamed. Honey, I tried and tried to explain it away, but my body was made. His body's a ship with an impenetrable hull. His bedroom shelves lined up with animal skulls. It's making me feel an irresistible pull. His body was made. My body was made with this attribute too. The need to become something totally new. Mysterious process that don't involve you. Body was made. Body was made, so just fucking relax. Don't pile on my plate with historical facts. I want to go forward, don't want to go back. And my body was made. Your body is yours at the end of the day. And don't let the hateful try and take it away. We want to be free, yeah, we go our own way. Yeah, our body was made. Oh!
That piece was so much fun to film. I'm sure that you can imagine after watching it. So there's actually no one for me to introduce this time because you're going to be hearing from Maya again, and she is going to tell you a little bit about the second piece that she created for Reverb.
Hi, thank you, Zoe. So this piece is called Super Gloop. It is performed by Clara Lee, Nadine Mauricio, Cindy Johnson, and myself. Filmed and directed by the wonderful Terrace Hoffman, and costumed by Hara the Label, which is a very cool sustainable clothing company based in Australia. And it is set to music by Moonbounce. So the idea of this piece was kind of all about multiple bodies acting together as one organism, supporting one another, caring for one another, boosting each other up, and moving together as a unit. It's a little whimsical, a little colorful, fun, definitely bouncy and gloopy vibes, if you will. So we originally set this piece in the studio months ago, and we even had a different cast. It sort of went through a lot of different iterations as we had to shift throughout this year in terms of our plans and performance and rehearsals, etc. So the cool thing though was that the idea for the piece and the process of creating the piece was very fluid and malleable from the very beginning. So even when we first started creating together, we were kind of shifting phrases around and experimenting with timing and music and all those sorts of things. And I think the kind of shape-shifting quality of this piece is actually reflected in really cool ways in the final film and captured really beautifully by Terrace. And I'm really happy with how it ultimately took shape, even though it turned out totally different than how I originally thought. I love that we were able to lean into the whimsical, mercurial kind of feeling that went into creating it, and that's reflected in the final product. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Sun, the warmth can heal. I never thought I'd feel so real when there's that thought that lingers still. The delicate illusion of free will.
So just a funny quick story about that piece, Super Gloop. I was supposed to give all of the costumes to Maya so that everyone could wear them, but I only gave 3 instead of 4. But they had 4 dancers, as you saw. So they made it work. I was so upset that I messed up like that because they had to keep running and changing because they had to share one of the costumes. So anyway, they still made beautiful art even though I only gave them 3 out of 4 costumes. So there's actually no one for me to introduce next because I'm going to be introducing this next piece. The title is The Limits of Your Longing, and it's inspired by a poem by Reiki. I do not know how to pronounce that name, so someone's got to chat me and let me know how to pronounce it. And I collaborated on this film with Daniel Williams of Moda Cinema, who I really enjoyed working with, and the costumes were provided by ARQ, a wonderful sustainable clothing brand that we have worked with before. And the dancers in this piece are myself, Amelia Harris, Sarah Shirelicki, Cindy Johnson, and Kelly Vogel. And I had a great time. I loved filming this piece, and I really hope you do too. So, presenting The Limits of Your Longing. So I don't know if you can tell, but we woke up at 5 a.m. to film that piece, so we were very tired and very cold, but we made it work somehow. Our next artist is Corinne Taylor. Corinne's actually my neighbor, and that's how we met and started collaborating together. She's studying film editing and production at Columbia College in Chicago, and she loves nature, she loves dance, and she loves wildlife education, and she's interested in filming for all of those different topics. Welcoming Corinne.
Thank you, Zoe. Hello. The next piece that you will be watching is called Rain Girl, which is the name of the piece that they are performing to by an artist named Yeji. It is choreographed by Zoe Goldstein, and it is performed by Cindy Johnson, Jenny Liu, Haley Delaney, and Zoe Goldstein. The cinematography is done by Sage from 4% Vision. My roles on this piece were as the director, as additional camera, and as the video editor. I had a fun time on both the set of the shoot and editing afterwards. I feel like it was very fun and a good experience, as well as an interesting combination of modern dance with electronic house music. It's just so interesting and engaging to watch. I think you should look out for the improv. It really reflects this music very well with their confidence, and the dancing is just very fun and engaging. I hope you all enjoy this piece.
Rain, make it, rain girl, make it. 매주 하는 생각. What if it's just me? 영화 한 편 끝나듯이 as real as it can be. 급급했던 기억들은 where I can't just see. 창문 없는 방에 when I am so free. Mother Russia in my cup, and my glass is fogging up. Oh yeah, hey dog, hey what's up?
Oh yeah, hey dog, hey what's up?
When the sweaty walls are banging, I don't fuck with family planning. Make it rain, girl, make it rain. 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 Make it rain, girl, make it. 매주 하는 생각. What if it's just me? 영화 한 편 끝나듯이 as real as it can be. 급급했던 기억들은 where I can't just see. 창문 없는 방에 when I am so free. Mother Russia in my cup, and my glass is fogging up. Oh yeah, hey dog, hey what's up?
Oh yeah, hey dog, hey what's up?
When the sweaty walls are banging, I don't fuck with family planning. Make it rain, girl, make it rain. 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 Make it rain, girl, make it. Mother Russia in my cup. Make it rain, girl, make it rain. 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 Make it rain, girl, make it. 가만히 서 있던 자리. Nobody can really find me.
We hope you enjoyed watching Rain Girl. It was definitely really fun for us to dance to that beat. Usually we dance to, more flowy music as modern dance usually goes. So that was a really cool experience for us. I would now like to introduce Cheyenne Blakely. Cheyenne is a digital marketer by day, and she's a versatile dancer by night. and as well as a choreographer. She went to DePaul for college, and she danced with DePaul Dance Company throughout her entire time there. Cheyenne is an excellent hip-hop dancer, and all of us at Echo are just in love with her hip-hop movement. And of course, she's a very experienced modern, contemporary, and jazz dancer as well. So it's my pleasure to present to you Cheyenne.
Thank you for the introduction, Zoe. I am so excited to share my short film Cocoon with all of you. I conceptualized, choreographed, and edited this piece. It features Zoe and myself as the movers in our own separate spaces. From a process perspective, I taught Zoe the choreography over Zoom, and then I shared structured improvisation guidelines with her through iPhone notes. From there, we filmed separately while Zoe was in Canada and I was in Chicago. And I was able to piece everything together in such an organic way that it became Cocoon. So yes, this project was 100% virtual. Everything from filming to editing to reviewing was done in the safety of our own homes. Back in the beginning of quarantine, I came across this Judy Garland quote, which inspired the vision of this film. The quote reads, "I've never looked through a keyhole without finding someone was looking back." Instantly, that resonated with me. I always find comfort in community and connection. Being alone brought with it a whole range of emotions, but I knew I wasn't the only one feeling that way. So it felt really good to create something together from afar. I wanted to reframe the idea of being limited to a space into the opportunity of exploring all that you possess, wrapping yourself up in that, and playing with all the curiosities with movement in these different types of spaces. So Cocoon is a mosaic of raw introspective moments in a confined space, and it's about finding the beauty in that imperfect experience. So with that, please enjoy Cocoon.
It might be over soon.
Where you gonna look for confirmation? And if it's ever gonna happen. So as I'm standing at the station, it might be over soon. There I found you marked in constellations. And there isn't ceiling in our garden. And then I draw an ear on you, so I can speak into the silence.
It might be over soon.
Oh, when I have carried consecration, and then you expelled all decision. As I may stand up with the vision, God daylight, God daylight, within a rise there lies a scissor.
It might be over soon.
I loved creating that project with Cheyenne. It was an entirely new experience for me to dance in my home, and it was definitely quite quarantine grown, if I could put it that way. So our next dancer that I'm very excited to introduce you to is Haley Delaney. Haley is from California. She is a founding member of ECHO. She is actually the current associate director of ECHO and my partner in all things ECHO related. She danced at DePaul in undergrad in DePaul Dance Company. And you're going to see her talk about one of her favorite things in the world, Taylor Swift. Get ready for Haley Delaney.
I am so excited to be sharing this piece of film art with you all tonight. This dance is called Peace. It was filmed by Andy Lawson, and it was edited and choreographed by Zoe Goldstein. The process for Peace started with Zoe reaching out and asking if she could choreograph me a solo to one of the songs from Taylor Swift's album Folklore. And since I am both a huge fan of the album Folklore and a huge fan of Zoe's choreography, I was immediately on board and super excited to be a part of this project. I learned the dance over the course of a few rehearsals, and we ended up filming in early November of this year at a location called the Forest Glen Woods. And this location is in Chicago, just about a 20-minute drive from where I live in East Lakeview. And despite still being in the city, I felt immediately transported into the wilderness when we arrived. I really love what the backdrop adds to this piece, and I really loved dancing outside in November, right before it was too cold to film any more of these. I want to thank both Zoe and Andy for bringing their talents to this project. I really enjoyed working with both of them, and I really loved being a part of this project from the very beginning stages to viewing the end result. And I hope that you all enjoy watching as well. This is Peace.
Of age is come and gone. Suddenly this summer it's clear. I never had the courage of my convictions, as long as danger is near. And it's just around the corner, darling, 'cause it lives in me. No, I could never give you peace. And you know that I'd swing with you for the fences, sit with you in the trenches, give you my wild, give you a child, give you the silence that only comes when two people understand each other, family that I chose now that I see your brother as my brother. Is it enough? But there's robbers to the east, clowns to the west. I'd give you my sunshine, give you my best, but the rain is always gonna come if you're standing with me. But I'm a fire and I'll keep your brittle heart warm. If your cascade ocean wave blues come, all these people think love's for show, but I would die for your secret. The devil's in the details, but you got a friend in me. Would it be enough if I could never give you peace? Would it be enough if I could never give you peace? Would it be enough if I could never give you peace?
It's always a pleasure to watch that piece, and when I watch it from the warmth of my home, I can totally forget how totally freezing we were that day. So we're actually nearing the end of Reverb. Thank you to everyone who stuck with us for the entire show. The last artist I want to present you to is Sarah Shirelicki. Sarah did her undergraduate degree in anthropology and dance performance, and she's very fascinated in all of the crossovers between those two disciplines. And she has a very extensive dance history. She danced professionally with Circo Rivera Dance Company as well as Coco Deco Dance Project. She actually also started her own film festival about dance connected to environmentalism. So we really hope that you enjoy Sarah and her piece.
Thanks, Zoe. So my piece is called Ascend, which is essentially about the journey towards awareness, or a greater awareness, or expansion and enlightenment. So I chose to look at this journey within 3 separate parts within my piece. The first part of the piece is a song called Find the Cost of Freedom by Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. And this is the recognition point. So this is realizing as a collective, or even on a personal level, that something has to change and it's time to make a pivot. And how are we going to do that? And then you move into the second part of the piece, which is a song called Woodstock by Joni Mitchell. And this is all about the journey itself, and how the journey isn't linear, and how the journey involves a multitude of people and experiences and moments and time, and how there's room for both joy and reflection as well. And then finally, the last part of the piece is another song by Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. And this is the moment at the end of the journey where one has to come home to themselves and have an opportunity to reflect. And I think it's within this reflection that we find our ability to really expand and to ascend. And the reflection is just as important as the recognition piece. And I think that the journey itself is all about letting go and letting it happen. So yeah, that's what my piece is about. I really hope you enjoy, and I'd like to take a moment to thank my dancers, which include Clara Lee, Gail Honeywell, Maya Wellbill, Cheyenne Blakely, and Haley Delaney, as well as Will Curiosis, who did all of the transitional arrangements within each of the music pieces itself. So I hope you enjoy this piece and that it gives you some sort of reflection as to the expansion that you've already experienced within your lifetime and on the level of the collective.
Find the cost of freedom buried in the ground. Mother Earth will swallow you. Lay your body down. Find the cost of freedom buried in the ground.
got to get ourselves back to the garden. By the time that we got to Woodstock, we were 500,000 strong, and everywhere you looked, there was a song and a celebration. Everybody was singing and dancing and sharing and having fun, and I dreamed that I saw the bombers. They're riding shotgun in the sky, and they were turning into butterflies above our nation. We are stardust, made from billion miracles. We are golden, caught up in the devil's garden, and we got to get ourselves back to the garden. We gotta get ourselves back to some semblance of a garden. Where will I be when I go back home? Who will I see when I'm all alone? And what'll I
That was Ascend, and with that brings us to the end of our show tonight. Thank you so much for coming. We absolutely loved putting this together for you. It was such an incredibly meaningful process for us the entire time, and we really, really hope that you enjoyed being with us tonight. Please come to the webinar panel. It is on Zoom webinar. It's in the link below. I can also send it again in the chat. Please let me know if you're having any trouble finding it. A number of the makers and movers will be on the panel tonight live, and you will be able to ask your questions in real time, and we'll have a discussion about the show. So let's take 5 minutes, do what you have to do, get a drink of water, come back, and we'll see you in 5. Thank you.